What's up everybody, Dara here again. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I set up this greenhouse, how I built everything. So this is going to be a video about everything, all the aspects of me building this greenhouse. I'm going to be showing you guys how I set this up. This did take a few months to build up. Every time I have a little bit of free time, I was working on this. So this video is showing you guys everything that went into making this greenhouse. So some of the clips are going to be from previous videos, but I wanted to make one whole video of this greenhouse. First thing I did for this greenhouse, I measured all the lengths and the width of this greenhouse to make sure that everything is squared so that I know where my ground post is going to be. So after making sure everything is squared, I put a tape measure down. Every 6 feet I knew I had to put a ground post. So what I'm using to support the bottom part of these top rail fences, I'm using a thicker footer post. It functions like a foundation for this greenhouse. So I'll be showing you a clip how I pounded these in. When setting up the fence posts, I try to make them as level as possible, but I do need the depth that is going to be around a 1.5 feet deep into the soil. So yeah, the next step is going to be that I'm going to be showing you guys how I put down this wood. This is going to be a 1x3. This is going to be a 1x3 wood that's going to be holding all the footer posts together, giving this greenhouse a very good rigidity so that it really doesn't move anywhere. This clip I'm showing you guys how I set it up first, but apparently I had to lift it up because I miscalculated the shake cloth. I thought it was a bit longer, but it didn't really mean much. I could just lift it up. So just a quick recap, I finished putting down all the footer posts, these posts. I don't know if you can see it. I put down all these footer posts. I reinforced all those footer posts together. I put a piece of wood at the bottom, 1x3, that's holding all the posts together. So that it will give a little bit more rigidity. There is going to be a top rail that's going to be on the top, and there's going to be 2 at the sides, both sides. So there's going to be a total of 5 supports throughout the whole greenhouse. So, well, at least that's the idea. At least we'll see if we can get there. But right now, I need to get ready to start putting in the bows. I have to put some extra supports for some of the footers. At the end, at the far end, there is a problem that I can't get it deep enough so that I know it's secured. So I'm going to be putting some extra rebar that I'm going to be screwing into that support to give it a little bit more rigidity. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing that, and then I'll set you up, and the next clip is probably showing me putting up the bows. All right? So a quick recap, I put down all these ground posts, these galvanized ground posts into the soil. I put a support on the bottom that is a 1x3 wood board that's holding the structure together, both sides. So there's this side and the other side. And on top of the greenhouse, I also put another one to give it extra support. Right now, what I'm going to be doing now, I am going to be putting a support in the middle of this, and I'll be using a different tool that I haven't used yet. This is called wiggle wire connections. I'm going to be putting on the first and the end bows. Those are to hold the fabric even better compared to this wood structure. You don't need this if you're doing this, but I have it and I want to test it out. In the future, I'll get some more. So I want to show you guys what the wiggle wire and the channel lock system work together. So you can see here on this table, this is the wiggle wire. This is a wire that's supposed to fit in this channel, and you can see that this aluminum bar has a little channel inside of it. So normally you can use this for poly or shake cloth, but how does it work? You put a shake cloth in the grooves, and you use this wiggle wire. You go in between, so you put it like this, stick it in. I'm going to try to do it one-handed. It's a bit hard. So you put it like this, and you squeeze the other part in, and then you can push it in. I'm going to change my hand, and then you push it the other side, and all those wires get connected into the grooves. Yeah. It looks like this, but you can imagine a shake off, or if you're using greenhouse poly, it'll be in between this. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using to hold down the fabric on the greenhouse. This is going again to be a 30% shake cloth. So yeah, I'm going to be drilling straight through this. I'm going to use a self-tap screw, just like I do for the other bows. So going to be self-tapping it, and then yeah, it's going to be holding good enough. So to hold the fabric, I'm using this small piece of wood. So I'm using a small piece of wood that I pre-drilled some holes, and it has a little flush attachment to it. So I tried to make a bunch of holes, and these are just to hold this wood to the fabric. And this wood, because it's so tight, it won't let the fabric move anywhere. So yeah, this is how I'm going to be holding down the fabric where I don't have channel lock. It's mostly the greenhouse. I was just testing out the channel lock, and I was really impressed with it. So I just wanted to show you guys that there are different ways to make a greenhouse. So I just use this small wood because we have quite a bunch. We got a lot of these. So I'm just using these small pieces of wood because I've got a bunch of these, because one of my neighbors were throwing some of them away, and I took them, and now it's being used as a greenhouse. So the next clip is going to be showing you guys how I set up the first side of fabric. That is going to be this side. Because it was really windy at that time, I couldn't have set both of them at the same time. I had to set one side at this side. That was a bit less dangerous for me to set it up. And then afterwards, a few months, I finished with the other side. want to talk quickly about all the support sets on this greenhouse. To hold the fabric, there's a total of 5 support sets holding this whole fabric. As I don't know if you guys can see, that there's a total of the footer ones that are holding the footer, and 2 on top, and the center one that's holding the fabric. I'll try to show it a little bit better. So in this case, we got one down there that's holding down the footer, and then we have one on top that is an extra support. The center one, we got another one here, and the footer one. First time we built this, we didn't put in 2 extra support, that was the 2 on top, because we are so windy here. The fabric keeps rubbing on top of the frame of the greenhouse, and it just keeps tearing it little by little, and then that would happen last time, that it teared because the fabric just had a little movement, that it kept cutting it, and then broke the whole fabric. But also that was a pro net, that was an insect net that was not as heavy duty as this type of fabric. So I do think those 2 aspects will make it last a little longer. So the way that I'm putting down the fabric, I put the piece of wood that's going to be shown in the first clip. So I put a piece of wood that holds the fabric, but before, I don't just put it lightly. I put the first screw, I start tensioning the fabric to make sure that it is tight. I make sure that it's tight, not over tight, that it starts ripping the fabric, but I try to make sure that it's tight enough to hold so that the wind doesn't move the fabric and start stirring it. So yeah, after putting the top support, what I do afterwards, I will be doing the next row where the excess wood support is, the smaller one. I put another piece of layer of wood on top of it to hold it again, and then I keep draping it down until I see the next. In this case, I'm putting an extra layer of protection at the sides. Yeah, in the middle of the greenhouse, I also set up another wiggle wire system to make sure that this fabric doesn't move anywhere. So I did that all sides. So the last part is that I am pulling the fabric down to where the footer support wood is, and I'm putting the wood and fastening it down very hard. So then this fabric doesn't have, it has a little bit of sway, but it's not going to be breaking anytime soon because this is a more heavy duty fabric and it's supported everywhere, so it's not going to be moving anywhere. So I'm very impressed about this greenhouse so far. I already have some tomatoes growing in there, but I'll be showing that in another video. For the time being, I'm going to be leaving it open, see how it goes. If it works out pretty good, I'm going to keep doing this like this. But if I don't like it, I will be modifying it later for making it end walls and making sure that everything is secured inside. So yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting of me building this greenhouse. This did take a few months to finish, but most of the time I had like a few minutes or about a half an hour to work on this. So it wasn't really a priority to make sure that it finished quickly, but whenever I had a free time, I was working on this. But overall, it turned out really well. I really like it. It's simple, but really good. So if you like this video, please like it down below and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me and motivates me to keep making more videos. In this case, this video is one of the longest videos that I have made. It took various days to try to edit this thing together to make this video what it is now. I hope that it explains to everybody how I made this small greenhouse. In the future, if I'm going to be putting an end wall, I'll probably be recording that, but that will be a different video that's a bit simpler and just a little off topic. So yeah, for now I'm just going to be leaving it open. I'm really interested in what any of your comments is for this greenhouse, because I really like the design. It's really simple, and so yeah, I'm hoping to hear you guys in the comment section down below what you guys think about this greenhouse. It is a really simple design, and it seems to be working really well. I'm impressed about how efficient it is. Compared to my tomato greenhouse, this was way cheaper compared to that, and it pretty much functions the same stuff. So I don't know, maybe in the future we're going to be having a few more hints. But I really like this design. It's really nice. So if you don't want to go a DIY way of making a greenhouse, you can order just a frame and then set it up yourself, because it is pretty cheap if you want to get the frame or if you want to get the whole kit. But I am looking into that in the future, maybe getting a kit rather than trying to DIY it, just because everything is even, so all the bows are precisely good. So that may be an option that you can look into, just buying the frame and then setting it up with shake cloth like I did here, or you can design your own. But I just found this really interesting, how you can make a greenhouse like this that's pretty cheap and didn't take that much time compared to the tomato greenhouse. So I think that's pretty much the video. So one of my longest videos that I have. But anyways, I hope you guys found this interesting, and peace. Pasa un buen día.